Welcome back, everybody. Rebel Bankers, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Money School. And I've got my friend Mike Fisher here. I love Mike's company's name. It's MF Cashflow. Now, you guys can figure out what MF means, right? You can either think it's his name or the mother. You've got the point. So we're going to talk today about Mike, his journey to success, what he does with his business, and how he plans to grow it in these tough economic times. But for a second, let's just take a moment and go and talk about you guys. Let's talk about your journey to becoming a Rebel Banker. Let's talk about your journey to finding money for your deals, your journey to building your empire, and your journey to becoming the leader that you were born to be. Well, that journey begins right here. It begins with you not only getting educated and seeking the knowledge you need, but it also has to always have some action. You have to leap. You have to take action on what you're learning. You need to go out there and do things. And whether that action is watching this podcast, maybe you grab a copy of one of my books. This one here, I'm going to give you guys for free. So this is our brand new book, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. I'm going to give you a link that's going to give you this book for free because I want you to read this, because this is how you're going to change your money game. Or maybe, how about I go double around? I'll give you a copy of this book too. The Private Money Guide. You can get a copy of this book. I'll give you both of them for free. Just pay the shipping. That would be taking action. Getting up and doing something, going out there, making offers on properties, going out there and solving people's problems to raise money. That's how you guys do it. You want to become a Rebel Banker? Take that leap. So let's dive right into it. Mike, thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, man, I appreciate your time, and thank you for the invite too. And if I could just add to what you just said, take action. Don't just take action, take massive action. Because if you want results, action means like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, and you get up off the couch and pull the remote out of your hand and you're going to go to the bathroom. But if you're going to take some massive action, throw the remote out the freaking window, throw the TV out the window, and go figure this out, because nothing else is going to work, because it just doesn't work. One thing that you don't know about me, and I'm sure most of your, unless anybody that really does know me, I don't own a TV. I have zero desire for it. It's just, I don't even feel like it's missing in my life. I love what the hell I do. So yeah, man, it's take massive action, not just action.
Yeah, or go one step further and take some MF massive action. Here's what I got to say about that. Yeah, that's the taking massive action, folks. So get that sound machine out. So, Mike, tell everybody a little bit about your business, about MF Cashflow. What do you guys do? What's the business look like today?
Yeah, so today we're managing over 350 doors out in the southeast suburbs of Chicago. And I've got a large portfolio myself. I'm still doing flips, even in the market that we're in today. I'm still doing flips. It's really difficult to find the right flip today and such. But I'm taking the stuff that other people don't want, and I'm really doing well with it. And being that my background is remodeling and new construction, I look at things a lot differently than a lot of other people do, and I can get in there, look at things quicker, and have an educated decision of what that cost is going to be. So I can get that thing under contract right now before, somebody else is going to say, well, I'm interested, but I'm going to get Joe out there to go look at it. I already got it under contract. Too late, bitch. So I'm already down. That's how I grew my portfolio, was just on that. So today, I just closed on one yesterday. I'll close on another one tomorrow. All sales, not purchases. I was just out looking at some other stuff also yesterday. So I'll give you an idea. One of the things that I'm selling next week is a house that it's morbid to even say, but this thing sat on the market for so long. I think they wanted like $110,000 or something for it. I ended up getting it for $80,700. 6 people were murdered in the house.
Oof.
Kind of a morbid, yeah. But the thing is, I went in there, rehabbed it out. Within 3 weeks, I had a full price offer on it. So, it's not so bad, right? It could be bad, but I joke around about it like, hey, I'm just going to go hire a priest to have him come in there and sprinkle some holy water around and video it, but it is what it is. People, everybody needs a place to live, work, play, or lay. You cannot get around it, right? And my goal is to better the community. So somebody's going to have to do it. Somebody's going to have to take it on. But I got a hell of a deal on this thing. And I was like, I can't pass it up. I could sit on this thing for a whole year and I would still be ahead. So
you bought it. You got it for like 80 something. And what did you sell it for?
229, I think, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did pretty well on it. But we went through the whole thing. I mean, roof, windows, kitchen, bathroom, all new plumbing and stuff. So, but that's just one of the things that we do. The property management is kind of where I'm hanging my hat right now, building that to go from 350 doors to 600 doors.
Now, is that 350 to 600 of your own units that you're managing, or is it just an outright property management company?
So 88 of those 350 doors are mine.
That's a good rental portfolio.
It is. I'm not complaining. It's been very learning through the whole process. A lot of failures. I like to say, fail fast, fail forward, and fail frequently. If you're not failing, then you're not doing anything. Again, get up off the couch and go MF do something.
I love it. And there's a lot to be said about that, especially now. I mean, property management's no joke. I mean, we have a third party. We manage about 80% of our portfolio and we're taking back 100%. But we also, in the past, have used property management for most of our properties. And it's a tough job. I mean, you deal with a lot of crap, a lot of crappy people. You deal with just a whole bunch of nonsense. So for you to be able to take that on, that's big. I mean, and it usually starts the same. Somebody's got a bunch of properties, they're managing them, and they're like, well, I can manage yours and yours and yours. Is that how yours started? Like, let's do this, Mike. Let's take the audience back in time to kind of how did this all start for you? Where did you begin in the real estate game? And then how did you get that to where it's at? And don't forget all the times you got kicked in the nuts and all the different times you had some failures, as you call them, or MF failures.
Yeah, man, a lot of MF failures through there, man. So, my background is remodeling and new construction. So I've been through a lot in that field, just carrying ladders, carrying drywall, carrying shingles, and moving this and moving that, and concrete, and it just sucks, man. It's a ball busting job, man, and it's tough. I'm thankful for the people out there that are doing it. I really am, because it's like one of those. It's like property management. It's a thankless job, but somebody's got to do it, and I did it for years, and then I got to like 2003, and I was like, being self-employed, like I got to figure a way out here. I got to figure a way out so that I'm not like, my body's not going to sustain. I'm going to be in a wheelchair. At that point, I was already going to the chiropractor 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on how I felt, and always in pain. And so I figured, I'm just going to buy one rental property every year. I can manage it myself. I can do any maintenance on it, whatever, So I did it. I set off and set off in 2003. I bought a property with 2 properties on it. So one in the front, one in the rear, and still own that thing today, matter of fact. So and then I skipped 2004, so I can kind of justify it a little bit because there was 2 in the first one. And then from there, 2005, I bought another one right next to it. 2006 was a big hit in the nuts, went through a divorce, and but that's okay. I learned a lot from all of that, but I was starting to feel like the crush, and I wasn't sure if it was like the economy or the divorce or both, because you're just in a cloud, like what the hell's going on, man? And I was doing new construction. I had a subdivision that I was partaking in and had a bunch of lots and new construction going on there, plus remodeling, many jobs going on there. So I was very busy, and I was just, at that point, I'm like, all right, something's changing. Sales have dropped completely, almost 50%, which is a lot. And it got my attention quick. Something else, being in business for so long, something like this, something got my attention. Like, what's going on? So I just dumped all the new construction stuff off, gave the lots back to the bank, and I just started doing flips right in my own my own backyard, my neighborhood, which is an A-class neighborhood. So I added a few more to my portfolio. 2009, I educated myself. I went out to the southeast suburbs and started buying southeast suburbs of Chicago and just started buying up properties out there, dirt cheap, $20,000, $30,000, and putting in 30, 40,000, whatever it takes to get them rent ready and put tenants in them and get them cash flowing. So then I was just getting up to getting packs of like 4 or 5 together at a time, take them to the little local bank that I built a relationship with, that I can go in, open the door, and sit down and have a talk with this person, right? I joke around about a sit down because people say, well, let's meet together. Let's have a sit down, Why can't we stand up? So, but, I built that relationship with them, still have a great relationship with them today. And then I just kept on growing and growing and growing. And I got up to about 28 doors about 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago-ish. And I was like, man, I'll never be able to grow the way I want to grow. I'm doing everything. I'm still doing everything myself. I mean, I'm not rehabbing as much, but I'm still out there. I just changed from working on other people's homes to my own homes, and a little bit with other people's stuff, but not much. But I was still out there hustling, still carrying tile and all that crap. And I went out to a mastermind out in LA and educated myself again, paid a lot of money to educate myself. And that's just it. Like, as far as if I was the audience right now, I'd be like all ears, because you have to educate to dominate. And if you're not educated, you'll never dominate anything. I'm sure you read a lot too. You wrote a few books, and I had to go out there to get educated. I went out there and got educated. It was like a 3-day thing. It was the day before I met one of the guys that was hosting it. I stopped at it was at a hotel. I stopped at one of the restaurant bars in the hotel. It was February, so of course I wanted to sit outside in the sun, being from the Midwest, and I had a burger and a beer, and I went inside and I seen the other guy sitting inside the bar having a burger and a beer, and I talked with him for 20 minutes. I couldn't tell you what happened in those 3 days at the mastermind, but I can tell you what happened in those 20 minutes. And I went home and did what he told me to do. Start doing some wholesaling, hire people that are smarter than you, get rid of your part-time assistant, hire a full-time assistant. I did all those things. I went from 28 doors to 88 doors in like 5 years. So, I had to get out of my own damn way, hire people that are smarter than me, and I paid probably over $7,000 for that 20-minute conversation. But look where I'm at now. If people can't pay for your book, or at least the shipping for the book, they need to get out of their own way, man. Just write the check. Because if somebody once told me, if you got a problem and you can write a check for it, it's not a problem.
That's true.
If people want to sit there and whine and complain and you can't afford 12, 15, I don't even know what the shipping and handling is, but
$9.
$9, and you can't afford $9 to invest in yourself, then you just shut the video off now. You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at today, and we're managing over 350 doors, like I said earlier, and we're growing to 600. That's my goal, man. I'm pushing. I got a lot of marketing going on out there, and putting the right people in place, building the team for where I'm going, not where I'm at. So I'm disrupting the whole team kind of right now too. Like, hey, we're going to build this to where we're going. I know you guys are all comfy where we're at, but we got to expand. We got to hire more people. So when people do come, because it's going to come, you build it and they will come, and we're going to be ready for them. So that's where I'm at, man. And there's been a lot of failures in there in between, and property management there's a ton of failures, man. And I'm still learning every day. I'm learning from people that have been doing this longer than me, shorter than me. It doesn't matter. And Chicago is probably, from what I understand, Chris, has got to be the hardest city to manage properties in the entire country. Thanks to our government.
Your government, man, I'm in New York. So
Yeah, right.
that's a tall statement to make.
That's a tall statement.
New York
yeah.
is the worst. Like we could
yeah.
go toe to toe
Right,
from
second.
Chicago to New York. Oh my gosh, New York is awful. Now, are you guys allowed to evict tenants right now during this COVID thing?
No. Everything's on a hold right now.
Same here, but it's not that we just can't evict tenants. I understand that. We can't even evict squatters. So we bought a house before the COVID-19 crisis happened, and it had 2 squatters in there. We had the attorneys get all the paperwork done, got approval from judges. Believe it or not, you have to get an approval from a judge to remove a squatter, and we're ready to remove them. And then all of a sudden this happens, and we're like, that's okay. We got the judge, we got the paperwork, the eviction has been granted. Nope, can't evict them. What do you mean I can't evict somebody that was pre-approved to be evicted, that doesn't even live in the house, doesn't have a lease, doesn't have any right to be there? They're just stealing. So we are literally like, I feel like I'm living in like a nightmare right now. Like it's the laws they're putting in place are designed to help people, but they're destroying the people that are building and transforming communities. They are. It's just the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? I'm sad to say that like we have to actually live in a time where this is how the world works, because it's absolutely disgusting. But you're right. We could sit there and we can just say, screw this, screw that. I live in the worst state, blah, 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 and point fingers. Or you just put your head down, you just blaze through, you just deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe their door needs to be fixed. I don't know, just thinking, some different ways. Yeah, the door needs an adjustment. And to adjust the door, we got to take the door off and we got to take it to our shop. And
That's
crap,
right.
There's nobody working at the shop. We'll get the door back to you when we can. I learned that a thing or two from some property managers about that kind of stuff. But so in this building that you've done, you've built this whole thing. One thing you didn't mention is, how did you build it? Where did the money come from? I mean, did you come from being independently wealthy? Did you just have a trust fund? I mean, come on. I mean, you don't build up to, the amount of doors you have without figuring the money piece out.
That's a great question. And you're right. I skimmed right over that kind of, I told you I built a relationship with a local bank.
Was it a community bank?
Yeah, a little community bank. So I looked at that as being that period of time where you could buy homes, $20,000, $30,000 as a huge gift to me. And other people looked at it like, Mike, you're fucking nuts. You're MF nuts, right? Like, no, man. They're like, dude, why are you doing that? You're going to lose your ass. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it matters to me, but I knew what I had. I knew I felt it, man. It's like, this is not going to, the housing market goes up and down. It's historically, when everybody else is selling, Warren Buffett says, what? To buy. And that's what I did. I went into major debt. I was buying all my materials with my credit card and paying the monthly minimum on it. And I went into a lot of debt. However, once I got past that 28 doors and then started hiring people and my cash flows coming in, I paid off my debt like in 6 months, man. I was like close to $40,000 in debt. So it's just,
that's awesome, man. I can relate.
Credit cards.
I can relate, but here's the problem. A lot of people, when they get in that much debt, they don't know what to do. And this is what they do. They freak out. And that's the biggest problem, because the second you freak out and you quit, that's when the game's over. You can't fail if you don't quit. I mean, you just put your head down and keep doing it. Like you just said, like you hit that critical point. You didn't know where that point was. You weren't like 28 doors and I'm going to be able to pay all my debt off. You had no idea. You were just climbing and hustling and clawing your way up. And then all of a sudden you're just like, wow, this is quite a bit of cash flow coming through the door. All right. Maybe I'll pay all those credit cards off. Well, maybe I'll do it in 6 months. Great. Now what? So
it wasn't that long ago, Chris. I was just cleaning out some papers, and I don't even know where the hell it just, some papers just came to the surface. I'm like, whoa, these are my notes, my handwritten notes of my balances. I didn't even put them into a spreadsheet because I knew if I had to hand write it out, it was painful to me. So I hand wrote it out so it would like enter into my head, and I hated doing it. So I hand wrote out each balance. I hand wrote everything, the credit card number, everything. and I just knocked them out one at a time, man, one at a time. And it was like so freeing, so I'm like not a slave to that lender anymore. And I was like, okay, now I can take all my focus and put it toward all my cash flow and put it towards growing again. And that's exactly what I did. My focus changed, put it towards growing. It really never stopped changing the focus from growing. I just kept on building that cash flow over and over and over. And that was the local bank always, I don't know how to want to curse myself here. They've never once turned me down. Never once. So in all the years that I've been doing this, they never once have anything I brought them, they've always worked it out. Matter of fact, we got a deal. I think another one will be closing, just a refi out. And that's what it is, just small little refis here and there of something I may have taken out a 5-year loan or something. But very aggressive. I don't do anything more than 65% LTV because it's not worth it. You get hit with something, your tenant doesn't pay, or you get hit with property tax increase, you're screwed. You're screwed, man. You'll be lucky if you're making $100 or maybe $100 less, or like a negative a month. Like you got to really just be smart about it and really be wise. Another thing that we talked briefly about it, and I'm just going off on a little rabbit trail here that I just recently learned is opening up your own bank. So you can open up your own bank and put a lien on your own properties, the ones that are paid off, so that somebody comes after you, your first depending on where you're at, but first or second lien right position on that. And man, talk about protecting your assets, man. Like, there's so much to learn out there. And here I've been in the business forever, and I just heard of this just last year, and I'm already working on putting this into work. So
yeah, there's nothing hard about it. You just create it, and then you just basically just file liens on all your properties, and
right.
then you're in the position. I mean, you're going to be under your bank, but that's okay.
I own the bank.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, yeah. I know about that. And, it's something that I think more people should teach about, because that is something that you don't hear about too much out there. I should do a training on that in one of our platforms, because that is something that, like, you're right. Like, there's not a lot of people that know about it, but once you learn about it, you're like, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
But that's that aha moment. It is that simple. It's too simple, actually. But that's the aha moments we have as entrepreneurs, as investors. Every day we're getting one of those new aha moments.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. Now, let's go. Go ahead.
It's the aha moment, but if you don't take what?
Action.
MF action. Man. Right.
MF, massive action.
Massive action.
Let's just put it all together. So when you found this community bank, so your community bank is probably a lot like the small one that I built my entire, business and rental portfolio with. In the beginning, when you started using them, how would they lend on your deals? What would they lend?
So they would lend 65% LTV.
Okay.
So when I'm cashing out, I'm not cashing out a whole bunch, I still might walk away with $25,000, $30,000 because the values back then were pretty low. But they would give me a 3 or 5 year balloon, and I would just take, all right, I'm just going to take the 5, and run with it. So, and here I am today, like the rates are so low and I'm still beating them up. I'd be lucky if I get a quarter point or something out of them, I was like, dude, I'm not like, and the thing is, like, I'm in a position that I could take my portfolio and go somewhere else and get 80, 90% LTV with lower rates. But here's the key thing, Chris. This is why I like this local bank. And this is where I think people don't educate themselves again, so when I pay off that loan with the local bank, I can pay it off myself and there's no penalty, or somebody can come in and buy it, no penalty. The only time I'm penalized is if I'm going to refi it out. Mm-hmm. That's it. Where the other banks and institutions and lenders, you call it whatever you want, they hit you hard, man. There's no freebies there. It's, in a 5-year term, it's a step down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're going to hit you up no matter what. If you refi it, okay, fine. That's the same as the local bank. But if you're going to take and sell it to an investor or sell it to a homeowner, doesn't matter. You're paying that penalty. And that's why I really like this bank, and that's why I'm still sticking with them, because of that. But a lot of people don't know that. You know, they're just excited that they got the loan. Educate to dominate, right? I mean, that's a huge thing. Because what if there's $100,000 balance on this loan and you got to pay 4%?
You just lost a lot of your profit.
Holy crap, man. You know,
that is real. I mean, there's a ton of banks out there that have those, you know, they either require seasoning for the refi. Obviously your bank and my bank doesn't either. So the seasoning would be you buy a property, private money, then you got to wait 6 months to a year to be able to refinance it. My bank, I can buy it today, refi it next week. There's no seasoning, and then there's no prepayment penalties or early payoff penalties. Those are huge things. And commercial banks, like, they all have that stuff.
Yeah.
You're screwed every step of the way with a community or a commercial bank.
Right,
you got to build relationships with these small banks. It's a huge thing. And we teach a lot about that. My book talks a lot about that. I mean, it's just go out there and build relationships with tiny, small community banks, and just go deep with those relationships. Because like you said, you can walk into that bank and you can negotiate with that bank. Yeah. Can you walk into Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or Bank of America and be like, all right, I've got 50 loans with you and I want to negotiate. Yeah. They're going to look at you and be like,
no. Yeah, there's the door.
And they're not pointing home run. They're pointing to get out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and that's just it. The other lenders are out there dangling the carrot. Come over here. Come over here. I'm like, no, dude. Like, you're gonna cash flow so much more, Mike. Who cares? I'm like, yeah, but it'll take me 7 years to recoup what the hell I just paid to get out. No, exactly. I'm not going to. Then I'm still paying appraisals for everything. I'm paying points up front. It's all in their best favor. Like, people need to educate themselves on that stuff. It's that dangly carrot, man, that shiny object syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It's all smoke and mirrors. I mean, it's all bullshit, man. Like, yeah, sure, get me 90%, and then I'm going to sit here with a stack of cash. But yeah, I could, and that's a good point. Yeah, I could still walk away with, you know, a large sum of money and invest it and do other things with it. That's just, I guess I'm more of the conservative side. Mm-hmm. I like to know where I stand. I'm going to take a risk, but I'm not going to take a massive risk, an educated risk within what I'm comfortable with. So, and I'm very happy with my decision, extremely happy, especially after where we're at today, right? Because, I mean, we're actually doing really well. We've got over 90% in collection, you know, for rents. Man, that's awesome. So
that's really good.
We do deal with a lot of Section 8, good portion of the portfolio.
Guaranteed
Section
paycheck.
8. But, you know, the people that before the pandemic boo-hoo on the Section 8. Well, where are they at now? You know, we're still collecting first and the 15th of every month.
Yep, they didn't miss a beat. They didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, no, they didn't miss a beat, not at all. So
yeah, a lot of times I think people get so caught up in their own head when they're building a rental portfolio. They want to build a rental portfolio of like exactly what they would live in. You know, they got this idea of like these expensive apartment units that they're going to live in, or these houses, and they overdo them. And you know what? That's the worst possible thing you could do going into this pandemic, this crisis that we're in right now. This, you know, the COVID, whatever you want to call it, because what people want is affordable housing and nice properties. They don't need the Taj Mahal. They just want, you know, like the B's, and I would even say the C's, but the nice B's and C's.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the greatest things that we do is we renovate, you know, kind of probably properties much like what you are. You're in Chicago. I'm just across the pond from you. Yeah. We're not buying like crazy properties, you know, 50,000, 60, some of them are, you know, 100, but we're going in, we're just doing nice renovations using very modern color schemes, modern flooring, modern kitchen cabinets, but nothing high end. But these places look like our high end. You know, when we had our TV show, we're taking what we did with the TV show houses, the colors, the style, the design, and bringing that down to just very inexpensive fixtures and everything else in these apartments, but we're able to keep that price point in that $800 to $1,000 range, and that's gold. Because that's people can pay that and they need that, but those are the people that you want because they're not going to trash the place, they're not going to run away. They just want a nice place for a good price.
Right. And I like to say, and I used to advertise this: clean, safe, and affordable. Mm-hmm. Very simple. People know me just from those three words, you know, clean, safe, affordable, and any marketing that any vacancies that we have out there. Clean, safe, and affordable.
That's awesome. So Mike, in wrapping, what would you say during this entire journey was your biggest, let's say your internal obstacle that you had to face? Because you went through some kicks in the nuts, but what was your biggest internal obstacle?
Getting out of my own damn way, I would say is my biggest, because being self-employed, there's never enough hours in a day. Mm-hmm. There really isn't. And if you want growth, you got to hire people that are smarter than you, and you're going to have to pay for it. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's an investment, and you're going to tenfold, hopefully at least tenfold on that investment. Get out of your own damn way. That was my biggest thing. I'm confident if I would have just took that advice, that 20-minute advice, a year earlier, I would have 130 doors, not 88. So
that's all right. You can't look back. You can only look where you're at right now and change what's happening right now.
Exactly. I look through the windshield, not through the rear view mirror.
That's great. Well, this has been good, Mike. Like if my audience wants to connect with you and learn more about what you're doing, how do they find you?
Yeah, mfcashflow.com, man. It's real easy.
mfcashflow.com. I love that name. It's good. It's good. And some people will be like, oh, Mike Fisher, Cashflow. Well, maybe you could decide what you want it to be. So, right. All right, everybody checking this out. You guys heard it. You got to take massive MFing action right now. Grab a copy of my books. You guys can grab either one of these. It's simple. Just go to moneyschoolrei.com/new book. Or if you want the private money guide, go to moneyschoolrei.com/book. You can get the book for free. You just pay the shipping. And if you're too cheap to pay the $9.95 of shipping, you shouldn't be listening to the podcast anyway, because that's just never going to be, you're never going to get anywhere not taking action like that. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Money School. We'll see you guys in the next episode.